Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with the review of the Crosshair 4 formula and also the AMD 1090T hex core CPU as well. I was going to make two separate videos, but considering that I've tested this or these two as a pair, I might as well just roll them both in together. NDA day is today, the 27th. And I really am hoping that I managed to get the first up on YouTube as well, because obviously I've been buttoned and I've not been allowed to talk about this for quite a while. Now, me and Brian from Overclock 3D have been working on this for a little while, and we've had it's been great because we've really had so much to talk about with this, because it has raised a lot of eyebrows with us in the team, and not necessarily the board, but the processor. Now, long and short of it, I know, get it out of the way. How good is it? Shall I buy it? Well, you do need to watch the video, because really, yes, this now, whether you buy them as a pair or whether you buy another motherboard, but the Asus is a brilliant motherboard, but the AMD CPU, it's about bloody time. It's an absolute powerhouse. It's brilliant. It really, really is. For 250 quid, you could say its nearest competitor is the i7 930. Now, alright, yes, it's only got 4 cores, but they're both in the same price bracket. They are both aimed at the mainstream stroke enthusiast market. You don't need a mortgage to buy either of them. It'll be a serious contender for most people that are going to be building a high-powered rig or a decent spec gaming system. And with the AMD, it really should be a serious contender now, because we were so surprised that AMD have actually given us a processor now that really does proper. It does trade big punches with the Intel i7 930. The AMD did win out on most of the tests. Both stock and overclock settings. The only time that the AMD fell a little bit behind was with Vantage, and we think that the Vantage really sort of uses the hyper-threading on the Intel better, but there was only 500 points in it, literally with near enough exactly the same hardware, but going over onto Intel. There was 500 points in it. You could even say that those 500 points come from the extra 2 gigabytes of RAM, or help go towards it. Game-wise, we tested with Shift, Dirt 2, and on Crosshair's Warhead. And Shift and Dirt 2, the AMD was well ahead. Especially on Shift, there were some big margins there. With Warhead, there was a couple of frames in it. The Intel did pull ahead, but it was literally 1 or 2 frames. There was no big margin there at all. On W Prime, we were getting, for 32 million, we were getting scores of like 6 seconds. It really does absolutely ravish through. We were just absolutely gobsmacked. I don't want to sit here and read off all the results for you, but at the end of the day, if you want to get all the nitty gritty, go to the review at Overclock 3D, which I'm going to post the links to. There's 2 there. One's for the board on its own, and one's for the processor on the board. But yeah, the Crosshair 4 is so easy to work with. It's so easy to overclock. You can literally just use the turbo buttons, or your overclock settings if you want to, flick between certain settings. But 1.375 volts got us a 210 bus at 19.5 multi for 4.1 gigahertz. Now that was 100% stable. That's what we did all our tests on. The max base clock that we got out of the processor on this board was 265, which, do you know what I mean, for these, you wouldn't get an Intel going up that high, and for a 6-core processor, we thought that was absolutely blinding. It was really easy as well to get a 250 base clock for a 4 gigahertz overclock. So do you know what I mean? Depending on whether you want to go for those megahertz more or whether you want to stick with the base clock, it's still very easy, and it'll do a 250 4 gigahertz at about 1.4 volts, maybe a little bit less. The only thing we did find with the board is that the load line calibration, it doesn't really sort of like stable the clocks, whereas normally it would stop the V droop. On this at the moment, we don't know whether it's a BIOS problem or whether it's just a problem with the board, but it actually overvolts even more. It was something that we were a bit woo about. It was adding between 0.3 and 0.5 volts, so going from like 1.5, I will get my words out. Say for argument's sake, it was at 1.4, and then you put the low line calibration on, it'd either go up to 1.43 or 1.45. Right, so we got it out. So yeah, the load line calibration just overvolts. We don't know why. It might actually be Windows not reading the BIOS properly. It could be an early BIOS, or it could actually be a problem that they're going to have to fix later on. But nonetheless, we didn't use it. We just overclocked with the normal volt settings. And yeah, that's it. And the HT link on this as well, you can race it right up. It's unbelievable. We were getting 2,900 without any problems. It really is very, very fast board. Now, it's getting late here because I've had to film this the night before, and I've still got to get up, upload the video first thing in the morning when I'm actually allowed, and put all the reviews live as well. But if you've got any direct questions, then just send me some messages. I will try and answer them. For those of you out there that don't like it or have skipped through it and are just going to moan about it because it's all talking, I don't care, to be quite honest with you. But for those of you regulars that know, do you know what I mean, how hard that we're trying to bring you all this kit and give you all the ins and outs about it, then yeah, you know why we're doing it. But long and short of it is, AMD really have brought us a processor to worry Intel. Is it worth buying? Definitely. Would I buy the AMD and the Crosshair 4 now? Definitely. Without a second thought, it's an amazing combo. So for those of you lot out there that have been waiting for this to find out whether you should be buying it, without a doubt in my mind, click buy now, because it really is worth it. But for now, this is Tiny Tom Logan with an AMD Hex Core 1090T and the Asus Crosshair Formula out.